Proud of our guys, and the one thing that we haven't been able to do is go on the road and come away victorious. That's been our next step, and we've been talking about it. And when we got back from Utah, Colorado, we really challenged our guys with a 9-day, 3-win mission, and that's not easy when you've lost 5 in a row. And our guys have really played well. They've stayed together. We've been seeing our defense, even when our offense has struggled on the road, we've seen our defense improve. I thought our defense was outstanding tonight. We hold the best offensive rebounding team in the league with 4 offensive rebounds, beat them by 20 on the glass, and I thought that was the difference. And then our offense has been coming. We got a little bit healthy with our offense at home, and we come on the road and had very efficient offense tonight. So get a couple days off, 8 days before we have to play again, and come up with mission number 2.
Do you feel like you guys have maybe erased some of those confidence issues that maybe stemmed from the 5-game losing streak?
Well, I think you're obviously, Ryan, you're going to start thinking about it as a player, whether it's been shooting or you're losing or you're not guarding or you're not handling the ball well. And you're going to get down a little bit when, regardless of who you're playing, if you're not having success. And we've tried as coaches just to tell them, hey guys, keep fighting. We're going through a really demanding stretch. We're the only team in the country to win 26 days, between home games. That's not the guys' fault. They just had to keep fighting and believing in one another, and they've done that. And we're getting better. And we still got a lot of growth. But Tom Welsh, we've been seeing him coming. He had a much better game tonight. Gigi is playing very consistent. Noah knows what his role is coming off the bench, and he's doing it well. So we got a lot of guys doing a lot of good things, and I think it comes at a good time. We need a break, but I'd also like to keep playing because we're playing well. So we know we got a long season still ahead of us, but I like the position we're in.
Can you pinpoint kind of what the key has been to this turnaround in the last round?
Well, we finally got to play some home games, and we've been really good at home. We've been 25-3 over the last 2 years, so we've only lost 1 game to nationally ranked top 10 Gonzaga this year. So home sometimes can make you well, and we got home in our familiar surroundings. Our student section's been incredible in the last games against Cal and Stanford, and that really helped us. And I think winning a double overtime game where you got to go 50 minutes, and the way we had to win it gave our guys a big boost into the Cal game, and so we finally went to the road with a little bit of our swagger back, and I thought we continued that tonight.
It was only a 5-point game at the half. What was the biggest change to let you guys run away with it?
Well, we had a great start, and that's a credit to the players. We had a really good start to the second half. We forced them into a timeout, but before we got to the first media timeout, I think we'd stretched it to 12-plus point lead. So you get a double-digit lead with 16 to play on the road, you're going to take that. So I thought the start of the second half was crucial.
Well, beating USC always mean a lot more in the conference just because they are that cross-town rival.
Well, it's a league game. Obviously it's a rival, but it's a league game. So, we were either going to, I think, leave this gym tonight tied or a 2-game lead. And so we'd much rather be leaving here with a 2-game lead. And very proud of Norman. Norman's the first player since Toby Bailey to go 4-0 at USC. So Norman, here's our senior that went 4-0 in this building. So that's a tribute to him. That's a good accomplishment.
It seemed like freshman year was catching up to Kavan a couple games ago. What has he done to adapt this past few games?
I really think getting home. We've talked about it, and I've tried not to make it sound like an excuse because I know people can spin it that way. It's not an excuse. I don't even look at it. There's not another BCS school that went 26 days between, and then look at all our trips that we had to take. Chicago, back home for Christmas, back to Westwood, then to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, then back home to Westwood, then to Colorado, then to Utah. That's hard for anybody, let alone a freshman and a big freshman. So I think he got tired. Guys got a little bit tired. We get home and we get some more energy, and you get to practice at home, sleep in your own beds, and get back to some normal day-to-day routine. And I think that helped all of them, but it definitely helped Kavan.
Out at the stat sheet, when you had a lot of points in the game today, again, how different has this offense been when Kavan and Tony are both working?
Well, and again, it's not the guys' fault. I think as a coaching staff, we've worked as hard as we possibly can to try to figure out other ways of scoring with this team. We're playing differently than what we did last year from an offensive standpoint. And for 3 games now, it's worked. I don't know if it's going to continue, but we're in a pretty good rhythm offensively, and the guys have adapted to it. Hopefully, maybe we're finding some things that now guys we know they do well, and really going to those things. You saw that in the second half. We had Norman on some drives that were able to get him. We got pick and pop with Bryson and Kavan. We got ball screens for Bryce to come off and and make reads on. We got the ball to Tony. We were able to get Thomas some good looks. Isaac didn't score the way he normally does, but I thought Isaac defensively was terrific tonight and a big key for us.
It seemed like you guys got back to that old style a little bit more in the second half. Is that just a matter of comfort? Guys are feeling good enough that they could go back into that?
I think having a lead at half was crucial for us. We got an 8-point lead, and they went up 3, and then we got back to 5. I think that was crucial for our guys to come into a break and have a lead on the road, because we haven't had that. And so they got a little success after winning 2 home games in a row, and I think they really believed going back out at halftime that, hey, we can do this. And then the start, as I mentioned before, I thought the start was a huge key to what we were doing.
Has any of the outside criticism or the talk of, hey, maybe you guys missed the tournament altogether, has that seeped into the locker room and maybe motivated your players?
No, I don't think so. I hope we're motivated by the noise in the locker room. If you're listening to noise outside the locker room, that's always going to affect you. And sometimes that noise is negative, sometimes it's positive. 10 days ago, we were on a 5-game losing streak. There are not a lot of positives being said about it. Now, all of a sudden, we won 3 in a row. I'm sure it's going to go a little bit crazy the other way. That's what happens. And we've got to listen to each other in the locker room, keep building with each other in the locker room. This is a tough situation with young guys getting better. And part of getting better is making sure they know what voices to listen to. And I think they trust the coaches to listen to us.
Bryce didn't seem like he could miss in the second half. Was that good to see him kind of bounce back in that way, given the rough few weeks he had?
He played well. He played well against SC last year in both games. So, he understands the magnitude of it, and I think he understood the magnitude of this game. That's your point guard. Point guards get a feel, and they understand that we needed a road win. And as soon as we got in the locker room, he was the one that went to the board and wrote "mission complete." And so everybody's yelling because he writes that on the board. Everybody knew what was at stake here, and your point guard's got to have that feel too. And I thought he did a lot of good things.